Check the mic and make sure it sound right, boys.
What's up, what's down, what is going on around? I'm Paolo Lising, founder of Startupintyron.com. This show is to answer your questions about starting up in Taiwan, either for business, school, or just hanging around. So leave your questions in the comments section below. And today we have a very special day because I'll be hosting Taiwan Tech Arena's Investor Salon, where I'm going to be asking questions about NFT, Web3, and everything in between. So as you can see here, our guests for today are Bruce Bateman, Advisor, Chairman of LITEON Technologies, Innovation and Startup Platform, and Melody Ho, Marketing Director of Glia Cloud. So as you can see behind me, we pretty much have a nice setup where I'm going to be sitting on that chair and the two guests will be answering some of my questions related to the topic that I just discussed. So, see you later.
Please welcome our moderator, Paolo Lising, the founder of MillionDC.com.
So, since we have quite a few number of people here, we're going to make this as comfortable for each and everyone as possible. So, as Joy mentioned, my name is Paolo Lising. I'm actually founder of two not successful companies. One is MillionDC.com. It's an educational platform for entrepreneurs in developing countries. Unlike you, sir, I'm trying my best not to shut it down because I feel like I still want to be in the space of the edtech. So I'm trying my best to find a perfect product market fit. The second startup that I have is called Startupintyron.com. It's a platform that tries to help foreigners start their companies here. I am trying to kind of like pull it into the Web3 space by trying to offer some utility for a token that we plan to launch. Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. And so today, around the topic of cookieless in the future, we have very special guests that I'm going to be asking questions in a while. So it's my pleasure to introduce today's panelists. We have the guy here who's been talking a lot, but really valuable insights. Mr. Bruce Bateman, who runs the innovation and startup ecosystem at LITEON. Clap your hands. And Ms. Melody Ho, Marketing Director of Glia Cloud. Alright, the topic for today is all about cookieless future. This is actually coming straight from the fact that you have Google, Safari, and Firefox trying to block the third-party cookies. So people have been speculating on the consequences and trying to find alternatives on.
Take your mask off. I'm going to have eaters.
Oh, okay, that's my face. Okay. All right. So people have been speculating on the consequences and seeking alternatives. So around digital activities. So basically what we need to do is what's going to be the future for you and me. So our guests are going to answer that, and then later on we'll dive into the topic of Web3, what is it all about, and how is the future going to look for us. But first, let us warm you up with some basic questions. Maybe any one of you could answer the first question. Why are we going cookieless, and what is being cookieless? What does it mean for everyone?
Sure. So cookieless is inevitable, obviously, due to awareness of data privacy crisis, and it's actually already happening. You can see that Firefox, browsers like Firefox, Safari, Microsoft Edge are already blocking third-party cookies, and Google joining soon. Don't know when, and that's why we have this talk. Everybody's fretting over it, when it's going to happen. And what it means is, as a user, and it's definitely mean more privacy, more data privacy. You have more consent on what data you're sharing over the browsers, your activities, and for the marketers, it will be a new approach to find your audience, and we can talk about that later.
So, why are we going cookieless? It's
Yes.
because we said we want privacy. And we told everybody, we don't want you to track us, but we want you to know everything about us. So we're in this conundrum, and Malden, the problem of, I want you to know that I don't watch golf, I watch soccer, I eat this kind of food, and I want Amazon to know everything about my buying habits, and I want YouTube to know which videos, and Netflix to know everything about me, but I don't want them to track me. So we are in this, where we want this personalization engine, but we don't want them to have it. And so in Europe, we went with GDPR, and it became a big problem. So even though, and Google is basically being forced to do this because of GDPR and privacy issues. But has cookies been a good thing or not? I get irritated at some cookies. I just bought a really good headset the other day that helps with my old age hearing, and now I get ads from them because I went to their website, right? And now they have a tracker ad, so they paid somebody to track me, and now I'm getting the same ad of something I already bought. You know, so is it a good thing or a bad thing? And cookies, but you know, that's kind of why we've gone down this path.
Okay, I guess it's very interesting for anyone here who's doing like marketing, specifically digital marketing. It's going to be a little bit painful, especially if everyone is trying to block their cookies. How is it going to be how is this challenge being faced by marketers? Melody, maybe you could give us.
There are already many alternatives, and I think we can approach from the publisher point of view and also the marketer's point of view. So for publishers, you probably have heard of unified IDs. It's basically you have to log in to browse the content of the website. It's a big challenge because it will require the majority of the text publisher to collaborate. So everybody has to implement that. So it will eventually work, but it's still quite dependent on the users. Let's say if I can find this piece of information elsewhere and not on this site, why bother to log in? I just switch the site. So in this case, quality of the content and name of the website will really matter. So that's websites' take on that, and also as marketers, they won't just rely on logins, IDs, and cookies, right? So there's another thing called contextual advertising. So you don't know their profiles, their identity profiles. You don't know their age, you don't know they're female or male, but you can probably guess from the context, like what kind of content they're reading. It's a sports news, maybe you can send them something related to sports. You can kind of guess from there. But at the end of the day, marketers will always have to go back. Just, I think it's a good opportunity for them to think.
For them to then, now marketers have to do the first person data, right? They're gonna have to collect the data on me. Now, there's a good side to that, in that, so there are some generalization, UID 2.0, Google Sandbox, which is now called, I remember what I wrote it down. Topics. But Topics has a problem in that it only gives you, like I go to CNN, it only tell you I'm at news. It doesn't know that I don't care about celebrities. I care about the war, right? So all that you're going to get back is that I went to CNN, and not like that. All you're going to get back is I'm interested in news. Right? And that's really useless. So if I go to a clothing store, then I'm interested in clothes. Well, that doesn't mean anything.
If you browse like a specific color of shirt, you probably just keep getting shirts.
Well, no, it's going to be worse. I'm just going to get clothes because it's not going to know that it's going to have to guess I'm male or female. But I think, so the problem now comes in that the detail of the page, that I'm on the blue t-shirt page, who gets that, where's that data? Who gets that data?
So for Google Sandbox, it won't be your identity anymore. It's not Bruce.
Yep.
It will be
Z47328319.
Yeah, like that.
I already know mine.
Did you record that? You can well, yeah, you get a code, it would be, and that will be your identity, but they won't know that identity is you. So
Well, until we get AI, and then we're gonna do a lot of machine learning
And
on you.
decode,
Yeah, we're gonna get a lot of machine learning on everywhere you've been and try
and
to build.
maybe eventually we won't have Google Sandbox, we'll have.
So I think one of the, what, the cookie thing, the real question is do we want people to know about us? Show of hands, who wants a Netflix to know everything about you?
I do. I want my Netflix to tell me what to watch.
Right? You want
But I think
Netflix?
Netflix already knows what I want to watch.
That's because they're a closed environment.
Correct.
If you logged in for
Right, so that is a perfect, sort of what we're gonna call Web3, cookieless world, is Netflix. All right, same with Facebook, because I'm in their world and they know, in Amazon, when I go to Amazon, I get my books from Amazon, I get my, I buy a lot of product from Amazon. Let's see what else I get, so I got Audible, I got Kindle, I got Amazon Music, I got so I get videos from them too. So they know quite a bit about me, right? But they're not involved in this cookie business. So they're not losing.
But specifically, if I may ask, which specific industries are going to be affected by the cookieless
SMEs,
SMEs?
the little guy. Because the little guy, your $1 million, you would buy ads. Right?
Correct.
So who's gonna get hurt the worst is gonna be a conversion of ad agencies. Are ad tech people gonna convert to providing services of first party data? Or am I gonna share, can I share first party data?
Sure.
No, can I share?
Okay. I thought you were going to share your point of view on.
No, so 1, 4, 6, that, no. I'm gonna share my
Melody,
personal
I
data.
think you were going to say something.
Yeah. So I agree on the SME part and also on the media publishers that are going to be affected because the traffic they're providing to monetize is going to be defined with, like, if they have the third-party cookie and marketers can track them, then that means their traffic is more valuable because they can kind of portray what kind of people they have on their site. And so that's for the publishers. And also like the small marketers. Well, big marketers, they probably can find their ways out and they have bigger budgets. They probably don't need to target. They just.
But I think one of the things I like about this is the fake websites that are out there just for marketing, those guys can't survive anymore,
Yes.
Yeah.
right? So the fake news or just the clickbait people will have to find another way.
Okay, I think we're clear now that the future will be cookieless, but there's still some ways in which you could collect information and to be able to better serve a specific customers. Could you enumerate, aside from just having a form, which I'm sure many people here are not really comfortable signing up forms just to watch, let's say, a Business Insider news that you click from, let's say, Facebook, and then, but because websites are doing that right now, like, even before you could read something, they will like really put up a form and get that information. So what I usually do is I'll just keep on refreshing it so I could scroll up until I
Yes.
complete the story without filling in the form. But is there any way?
So that has to
should-
die.
Which one?
I was reading, I got to a website the other day and the ad came up for me to register before I read the paper and the product. I don't know if I like you, and you're asking me to register now. So I think there's a whole new industry here or opportunity for this. Someone's got to think of a better way.
I think you think it's gonna die, but then I think it's gonna take some time to die out.
I want it to die.
But then, yeah, I didn't think premium publishers will let people log in. Like people will like to log in like to CNN, and in Taiwan would be like Business Weekly or Harvard Business News. Like these kind of sites, people will log in. People will buy the content. But for medium-sized pubs or just news sites, it might be hard. So, and if they still have traffic, marketers will buy traffic to advertise, and it will just take a long time for them to stop.
And what about Bruce's question that those quote-unquote scammers trying to get information, do you believe that it will still thrive? Because if I were a marketer, those kinds of information are very much valuable, so I would let them thrive and then maybe secretly buy that information so I could push ads. This is coming from a previous digital marketer, by the way, so I was trying to...
Well, it depends on where they are buying from. So if it's like the Google programmatic ads, probably they can't because they've got a bunch of policies to follow. So these sites won't even be approved to place ads, Google ads. But there are always other programmatic ads agencies providing these kind of service, so they're probably still gonna find their ways there.
So, sorry, so in your business,
Yeah.
you go for content creators. So I'm a content creator, I go to your website, I create a video, and then when I post it, I'm hoping to put the ads around there, right? That's how I'm gonna get people to, or is that how your business runs today?
It's half true, but half incorrect.
Half secret.
Half secret, yeah.
So what about the half that, how's the revenue? So you said half of your revenue is okay.
Yeah, so we help publishers to create content. We are an AI technology company that helps create video content. And for publishers, we help them make their text content into videos, so they don't need any other
I
things.
thought you could make me look younger.
I wish I could. We already do. And so, anyways, yeah, we make videos for them and we place on their sites. And we also let marketers create their ad creatives through us, and they will be able to place through different distribution channel or through these inventories on the sites.
So when that goes away, what happens?
Actually, so once is what I mentioned, contextual advertising, and probably don't want that because I'm reading a sports news and I'm always seeing sports ads. That's probably what you don't want. You're probably interested in something else. And what we have is, actually we have this thing called interactive player. So it has these little buttons that you can play and answer a survey, or like you have a poll. It's kind of like an Instagram story that got all the interactions while you're watching the video. So, but it won't just pop up and stop you from reading your articles, browsing your news. It would let you interact if only you want to. So in this case, we can also collect real-time data.
First-party data.
First-party data. And that is from us. So actually there are more first-party data that the website can share as well.
Before I give the floor to anyone, just one last question, and this just came to my mind. Most of the time, from a digital marketing perspective, digital marketer's perspective, you actually want to catch them in a point wherein you could make them buy something. And this is what we call as the online to offline. So basically, for example, if you're holding your phone, and we've done this before, you can actually launch an ad that actually shows an ad right when you're in front of a store and says the store 2 meters away from you has a sale on that specific phone that you actually browsed 2 weeks ago. So you walk in there and just show this QR code and you get 20% off. Is this still going to happen in that cookieless world?
It's going to happen in a very different way, but it is still going to happen. But so actually we have this successful case study just recently. We worked with this coffee franchise brand in Vietnam, and we have this interactive player across the websites we work with. And this time with no targeting, cookie targeting, but maybe just the regions. And so we have this video ad playing, and then there's like a little lucky draw game coming out, and then people can play with it, like what's your favorite coffee, and then it's cute and nice, but it's not it. After that, after they click, they would see like a coupon where they can use, and it will have a QR code, and they can save on their phone. So they can screenshot where they go to the landing page, and they save on their phone, and they can exchange that coffee.
But that's an app, that's not a browser.
That is a browser.
So it's a plug-in to the browser, or?
Yes, it's like
Plug-in.
plugins. So it's still a player, so it's still on the website. So you're not leaving the place to do any interactions. You're catching the audience right at the time. Yeah.
So I think the answer is in a plugin, which is a proprietary app, or an app. So
It's like an HTML5 or like a BPIG. It can be in many different forms, but just not just like, yeah.
But it's not a brand new phone where I just downloaded Chrome. That
Yeah.
will work.
Yeah.
So,
All right, so let me open the floor to any questions from the audience. Do you have any questions, opinions, especially those who are working for something related to digital marketing or websites? Did you have experienced anything about cookies and how you target your specific audience?
Can I ask some questions?
Please say your name,
What?
sir.
hang on, here comes the mic.
Oh.
My name is Jeff,
Hi, Jeff.
and I have two questions. There's first one is, what about the previous cookie tracking? That they already have your fixed IP address.
Very good question.
That's a good question.
And the second question is, since we all use some type of mail server provider, that basically they can have more control from themselves, inner circle to fill up the gap of ad sales or whatever. So they actually have more power. And even if, let's say the old people, they only use Line or Facebook, they already control their accounts, so they can still sell it.
So you bring up a very, very good point, and something that there will be a fix for, which is the most valuable thing in the future will be your IP address. But I use VPNs, right? So, and I do random VPNs, and my VPN provider will, so, and then I have software that changes my user ID. Apple does it too. They'll randomize your ID. So, so that is, your IP address is very valuable, and it'll be kept for legacy data, but I think that'll be fooled because you won't know my real IP address in the future. But my email address, I think, will be something that's very valuable in the future. But I also can have 14 email addresses, so that's the next solution, which is to create an email that I use just for certain things. And the last thing you brought up, go ahead, you can answer.
No, I just want to add on. That's exactly why media publishers are working on unified IDs, and that's based on emails addresses. So your email address is still going to be valuable, and actually cookieless doesn't mean cookie won't exist. It will still be there. Google will probably still have them. They're just not going to share with you. Not going to share with the marketers, and they're going to somehow encode it into something else. So cookie will still be there for targeting, but it's not you. Maybe.
Yeah. What was your third question? The second half of your second question.
Second question is, most of mail
Oh,
server
sorry.
providers.
So Line is closed environment,
Yeah.
right?
So
So Line, Facebook, yeah, it's not it's all, they own everything. So that's all first person data,
yeah.
right? And they're not affected by cookies anyway.
Yeah, if you log in, then you give consent to
Yeah,
give your.
it's more like a subscription.
Yeah. And so if, the problem is, if every website you go to, you have to subscribe to, is that a pain in the arse? Sorry, edit. Is that a pain?
It's another YouTube.
Right, so, yeah. And yeah, how am I gonna do it?
And there is a future problem that we are trying to bring our cell phone numbers as our IDs. And so basically, we can still track you through cell phone numbers. And it doesn't matter, because we can match the name and the phone number. So we can still find you, figure out who you are.
Correct.
Correct. So it's not all dead. And by the way, I have my phone number .tw.
Anyone else has a question? All right, looks like that's the end of our first set of questions. Later on, we're going to talk about Web3 and then go as deep as possible. But for now, we'll have like a 5 minutes break, or?
Are we on time?
Yes, we are on time.
Holy crap.
All right, but before I go, maybe you could say a little bit of thank you to one of our sponsors. The guy outside is actually the co-founder, CEO and co-founder of Activeview. And yeah, maybe you can clap your hands. Daniel, maybe you can
Come and bow. Give a bow.
Oh, this is Daniel. He's the founder of Activeview. Could you briefly tell us what Activeview is all about?
Sure.
We just want to thank you for sponsoring today. So what is it about?
So at Activeview, we have developed a smart beverage dispensing system that allows end users to customize their drinks so they can select their flavors or their ingredients via an app, create the QR code for their unique order, and then scan it on our device. So we're very happy to provide you any kind of drinks for the event today, and very honored to be partnered with TTA as a beverage sponsor and beverage partner for the upcoming events. And we'd love to have you try it out and give us some feedback on how you like it. And yeah.
Thank you. All right, 5 minutes break, and we'll
Check the mic and make sure it sound right, boys.